have those items on that checklist or wish list of habits that we wish we could do. Maybe it's exercising more. Maybe it's meditating more, and that's why you've signed up for this 10-day challenge. Items, and please comment them, share them, of those items, those wish list tasks or habits that you wish you would do. We know with our conscious, logical mind that these would help us improve and make us take steps forward into the life that we would like to create. But because we are in survival mode or survival mindset, survival energy, we're having a harder time taking those actions. Instead, we stay within our comfort zone, we stay with what's easy, and often it's because we just don't feel like we have the energy to put into that change. So by allowing ourselves to practice a daily meditation practice and implementing these little mindfulness tricks to get ourselves out of survival mode and into thrive, we'll be able to then take on those habits that we would wish to have. Now, today is all about talking and thinking about what those habits are that are keeping us stuck. So what habits are we doing that we really need to work on replacing? Often we've gotten ourselves into this state of survival because we keep thinking about all these things that we need to do, that we need to accomplish, and that list is piling up. And we think there's more things to do than we possibly have time for, which then begins to create this frantic energy of there's not enough. And when we get stuck in this there's not enough, then we don't tend to feel safe. And when we don't feel safe, our mind goes into what I call survival mode, our survival mindset, and we create this survival energy that we can easily get trapped into. So often I tell people to think about the things that we want to add into our life and focus on the positive so that we can shift and move. But depending on the state of burnout or survival or scarcity mindset that we're in, we might need to recognize, bring awareness to what it is that's actually keeping us trapped, and then replace that habit with a positive habit. And I say this because you might notice that the state of mindset you might be in, it's hard to daydream. It's hard to get into creativity. You might find yourself in a state of buying lots of self-help books, but still not reading them because you don't feel like you have the time or the ability to put that as a priority. That's allowing ourselves to get trapped in this survival stage, the survival mindset. And so to get ourselves out of that, we first need to notice when you're wanting to read a book, when you're searching for new books to read. Stop yourself, become aware of that, and say, okay, I'm going to set a timer. I'm going to read for 20 minutes. And even if your mind is all over the place and thinking about a million other things that you need to be doing, you could have a pen and paper next to you and simply write those down and then go back to reading. It's the same practice of meditation. Meditation is like your gym, and you're practicing your bicep curls or your triceps, and you're exercising your mindfulness muscle while you're doing your meditation. So the more we can redirect our thoughts, not stop them, but redirect them back to where we want them to be, we can gain more focus, and we can start to participate and show up better into the things that we wish we would like to do. And reading's just an example. So be thinking about today, like, what is it that you keep saying you want to do? What kind of life it is that you want to create? Daydreaming is a great way to shift yourself. Daydreaming about the positive is a great way to shift yourself into more of this abundant mindset, believing something else is possible, more than just this moment. But of course, we want to give ourselves structured time. So you can have a daydreaming session with yourself and see if we can use a daydreaming session to replace something like vegging out on TV or scrolling through our phone. Find more intention in what we're doing rather than these numbing out or distracting activities. So becoming aware of what these distracting activities might be, and then replacing them with things like daydreaming or relaxing and coming into the moment. It's a little challenging, but I tell you, it's the fastest way to get yourself out of survival and into thrive. And once we're in thrive, that's where we can focus on creating this life, taking on these new habits. But for right now, we need to focus on replacing the habits that are keeping us trapped. So for today, let's practice on redirecting those thoughts. Let's practice going to our mental gym within our 10-day meditation challenge. So find your seat, whether you're cross-legged on the floor or you have a seated floor position that you prefer. Sitting in a chair with your feet flat on the floor is another option. We'll have our palms up. And so just a little, like if you ever wonder, why are we always having our palms up? Palms up are allowing us to open, and it rotates on our chest so that our chest muscles open. Now, if that's too much for you, you can do palms down. Palms down is more grounding. So that if we feel really in our head and anxious, we would actually want to put our palms down. But if we're in the practice of opening up, we would put our palms up. So you choose. This is just a suggestion. It's never a requirement. Just taking a deep breath. Relax through the jaw. You can allow your eyes to close, or you can look down. You can focus on a single point of focus. We just allow ourselves to settle into our seat, into our space. We're teaching our mind to settle and get out of anxiety or thinking too much by allowing ourselves to come into our body. And we do that through our senses, our perception of our body within this space, proprioception. And just doing this little scan of our body. Maybe you start with your seat and work your way up, or if it's easier to focus where your eyes and your breath are coming in on your face, and work your way down. Either way is perfect. Just pick one way. Just choose, just making a choice. And as you scan your body, then notice your breath. Notice where your breath is as we're starting our meditation practice. You can give it a little label without judging. Notice if your breath is short. Notice if it's full. Just going to begin our 4-count breath. So begin to even out that breath, lengthening our breath, inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then giving the option today, if you'd like, you can lengthen that to a 6 count if that feels available. And if your mind wanders and it's hard to stay with the count, that's okay, no judgment. Just keep redirecting. And you can stay with the count, or maybe a physical sensation is better for you. If you feel your breath in your chest, notice if you can place your hand on your belly, just below the chest, right at the base of the ribs. And you can just focus on filling up the belly and then releasing the breath. So you can do both, the count and placing the hand on the belly. Or you might find yourself one or the other. If you still feel your breath a lot within the chest, you just need a little comfort, you can place the other hand on the chest. And the hand's just there for comfort as we continue to try to redirect our breath into our belly. See if we can get that breath within the belly really filling up. As we fill up that diaphragm, there's a trigger point there. It's a positive trigger point. It allows our body to elicit our parasympathetic nervous system, which takes us out of that fight or flight or survival mode. These big, deep belly breaths. We're going to be here for 2 whole minutes, just breathing these deep belly breaths. If the mind does begin to wander, we do not judge. We just simply allow ourselves to go, oh, my mind wandered. I'm catching it. And I'm bringing back my attention to my breath, the sensation of my hand on my belly, my breath filling up, the counting of my breath, either using the 4 or 6 count. Occasional scan of the body to notice any tension. So attention to our tension. And our anchors, our hand on our belly, feeling our breath. Big belly breaths, calming and soothing our nervous system. Notice if you lost awareness of the hand on the belly, or if you lost awareness of your counting, That means the mind has wandered. And we just simply notice, oh, my mind wandered again. And I'm redirecting, bringing myself back to my anchor. And that this is beautiful, this is perfect. This is me within my mental gym, making my mind stronger. Gaining control back over my mind. And taking back control of my life, my mind, my energy. And then we'll take our 10 breaths. And in and out is one breath. And as we release, we can wiggle our fingers and toes. We take this big armed stretch as we've been practicing, this opening up, big inhale. And then release. Allow your eyes to open. So, question I've received this week is, how long should I meditate? And it's not about how long you meditate in the beginning. It's more about the consistency and having a consistent time or consistent habit of meditating every day. When I say consistent habit, meaning we can link it to another habit, and that's the easiest way to form a new habit. Such as if you brush your teeth every morning, and that is super easy for you to do, you do it every single morning without thinking, it's become such a habit that you would link, as soon as I meditate, or as soon as I brush my teeth, I then meditate. So we would link it with a habit that we already have, such as if you get up in the morning and you go straight to the coffee pot, maybe you put the coffee on, and as the coffee is brewing, you sit and you meditate. So we would link it to another habit that we already have. And I guarantee you have habits. It's just a matter of maybe identifying them, that I feel like I must do this every time I do that. And if you don't have a habit and you feel like you're floating, then I recommend it be the first thing you do as soon as you wake up. And starting out, if even 5 minutes feels overwhelming, then do 2 minutes and set a timer to do it for 2 minutes. What I really recommend is to try for 10. And 10 is a comfortable spot. Everyone has guaranteed gotten on their device and scrolled for a good 10 minutes, and 10 minutes was gone before they knew it. And this is going to be a really well spent 10 minutes. That 10 minutes can feel extremely long. That's why we set a timer, so that we can recognize that it's only 10 minutes. You can do this such as maybe you're putting something in the microwave for 2 minutes, and you're just going to sit in the chair and you're going to breathe and just do a gentle mindfulness meditation while the item's in the microwave. So you can practice meditation all throughout the day, but we want at least a consistent practice. Generally first thing in the morning, and I found people over the course of teaching meditation all of these years will try starting at night, and then they eventually shift to doing it in the morning, and they find that they like it better. So start where you need to. You can always shift to do it in the morning, or you can just skip all of that and start with the morning. So you choose. But again, the consistency is key. And that first thing in the morning, whether it's after you brush your teeth or during coffee or whenever it might be, is to choose the same seat, especially as you're beginning and you're getting yourself out of that stress response, to find the same space, whether it's, for example, for me, it's the corner in my office. I have my cushions sitting there. And you choose the same space every day at around the same time, preferably. And the time can vary, such as if you are in a hurry and you only have 2 minutes, then do 2 minutes. If you feel like, oh, I need a 20-minute this morning, then do the 20 minutes. The consistency of time is what's not important. It's the consistency of the time of day and the consistency of your seat. And then your practice begins to evolve, and you can begin to meditate anywhere and everywhere, but still your practice will grow the most when you sit in the same spot at the same time every day, no matter what the duration, the length. So I hope that helps. Please let me know if you have any additional questions. Happy to answer them, and answering them for the whole group. That way, for someone that goes, oh yeah, I didn't think about asking that, or they're like, oh, I was thinking about asking that. So it provides those answers as well. Thank you so much for joining on day 5, and we're halfway through. I hope you're already noticing some differences, but also note that our subconscious mind can also kick in and say, I feel good, I no longer need to keep going. So the maintenance phase is often the hardest, but within the 10 days, we're not quite at the maintenance phase. We're still at the rewiring, rewriting, and our subconscious mind can kick in and say, we don't need that, I don't have time. It can start giving you lots of excuses, so be aware of that. Thank you for practicing, and I will see you tomorrow.